Hey, all you beautiful people. Welcome to the Colorado Trail. I'm Katie. I'm hiking with Fluffy Dog, and we are starting out on segment 6 of the Colorado Trail, and we are kind of making tracks to get away from the highway because it's very loud there. Here we go. Segment 6 starts at Kenosha Pass, and we will hike 32.7 miles to Breckenridge, and this should be lovely. I'm hoping we get a lot of fall color. Cross your fingers. I don't know for sure because there was a hard freeze a little over a week ago, and I don't know what that's going to do to the aspens. But so far, it's actually pretty. Not a ton of fall color, but there is some. We're only going 3.1 miles tonight to Guernsey Creek, the first major water source. And we're going to camp there. We're getting a very late start. It's 5:30 at night, and wasn't planning to hike very far today. After a brief jaunt through the aspens, we're headed into a lodgepole pine. It's going to alternate pine and aspens for a little bit. Some of the Wiki-Up hiker shelters along this segment are pretty impressive. This guy's really big. The first part of segment 6 is a steady but pretty gentle grade going up. Enough to get my heart pumping though. Looks like we're about to crest this rise that we've been going up, and the sun's starting to get lower in the sky. Has an orange cast to it from all the fires. There's a fantastic little sitting bench a little ways in, and where the views just open up and you can see the mountains. But it's really smoky today. And it may be smoky this whole backpacking trip. There are some pretty big wildfires burning in the state right now. Down through the forest we go, and it is starting to look like fall. Through the haze, you can see the little tiny town of Jefferson down there. The sun is really turned into a giant orange orb. It's really, really pretty, but I'm sad for the reason that it is so orange. And that's all the wildfires. Specifically right now, we're probably getting smoke from the Cameron Peak fire, which is nearish to Fort Collins. The sun is just dipped behind the mountains. I'm hoping we get to the creek pretty soon. We're getting to a low point, and Guernsey Creek is going to be ahead of us, and there's lots of critters down there. I think it might be cows or horses. Almost there. I think once we go down this little valley here, we will be at Guernsey Creek. There's the creek, and I think we're gonna set up our camp spot right across the creek there. Turns out Guernsey Creek is right next to a couple of Forest Service roads, and there's people out here camping, probably hunting as well. And so I walked back to the creek a little bit upstream to find a little more secluded area. And there's a number of good camping spots back here. So we'll take this one. As you can tell, it's getting dark, so I'm gonna go grab some water out of the creek, set up my tent real quick, get some dinner, go to bed, and we'll see you guys in the morning. Good morning. Good morning. Fluffy's all up and about, but I'm not ready to get out of the tent yet. It's a little chilly, a little bit chilly. What are you doing now? Do you want some breakfast? Getting kind of a leisurely start to the day. It's around 10. I'm just now getting ready to hit the trail once I get some water. Water that Fluffy hasn't just walked through and made muddy. Oh, that's kind of muddy now. Alright, step downstream of where Fluffy was mucking around in the water. And got some fresh water. So our plan today is to go about 11 miles. No, to about 11 miles. Uh-oh, Fluffy made a friend. Important. Hi, 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 I can tell you want a shake or something right there, don't you? Yes, you do. I know. Oh, you're a good boy. Even though you're naughty and you mess up my swimming areas. Was that a nice friend for you? Was that a nice friend for you? Finally getting rolling. Got my water. Fluffy's pack is on. My pack is packed up. The plan for today is to go to the top of Kenosha Pass, which is about 9.2 miles from here, and then over the other side just a little bit till we find a camping spot and water source. So that's the plan. We're ready to go. Finally. It was a very slow morning. Was not wanting to get up, but I'm ready to go now. The little shrubs that you see all around that we're walking through are yellow cinquefoil, and you see a few of them. Very few little flowers are still hanging on and trying to put on a show, but fall really has struck, so they're trying. It was a little cool sleeping last night. I think tomorrow or tonight I'm going to put on more layers to sleep, but right now the weather is pretty nice. Walking through the aspens, we are starting to see some color change. I don't think it's going to be a spectacular year for the aspens, but they are changing. That little mountain is Jefferson Hill, and we have to go around that before we start going up the pass. Deadman Creek is very pretty. Wish I'd left early enough yesterday to camp here, because this would be a very pretty place to camp. A little nicer than Guernsey, just because it's a little more secluded. the trail's been pretty mellow so far, which is really nice. Kind of gentle up and down. Eventually we'll have to start the kind of steady climb up to Georgia Pass, but it's pleasant so far. My only complaint is how many mountain bikers there are. There are a lot of mountain bikers. I'm having to stop like every 5 minutes for let a mountain biker go by, and that's not that awesome. Plus they're gonna come bombing down this hill in the afternoon, which is also not awesome. We've come to a cross in the road point, and the trail is mostly gonna start to go up from here. I've hiked Georgia Pass before, and as I recall, it's not difficult. It's like just a steady, moderate up, but steady. And so we're gonna take our time, get to the top. It looks like we are coming to Jefferson Creek, which looks like another great place to camp. You want to stop and have some lunch here, buddy? You want to stop and have some lunch? Because this is a nice lunch spot, I think. Found a nice little spot to have some lunch. It's probably a really nice napping spot too. As per usual, making one of my typical lunches for backpacking, which is prosciutto and brie sandwich. It just keeps really well in the backpack and tastes good. Prosciutto and brie, it's what's for lunch. Fluffy's taking a lunch nap. He's just ridiculously cute. Now that we've fueled up and rested up, it's time to hit the trail again and start the climb. Again, it's steady and goes up, but it's moderate in difficulty. We are arriving at a junction. Turn right for the Colorado Trail. There we go. That's our trail. And another junction. And we go up. We have made progress with all that hiking up. It's a lovely scenic overlook. We've definitely made some progress from where we started, as we would have started way over there. What are you doing? Are you actually on top of the scenic overlook, and now you're coming down because you're nervous? Good boy. All right, carry on. As you're hiking up through the woods, you really can't see where you're going and what your goal is. So it's a little tedious hiking up through the woods on this trail, because there aren't very many obvious rewards along the way. Some pretty streams, but whew, watch my step. Whew. There's some pretty streams, but you can't see your objective, which is Georgia Pass. But that's okay. We're getting there. We are at the last water source for 6 miles, and I'm trying to decide what to do. I have filled up my waters, and I have enough time to hike over the pass, but I don't know that I have enough timed hike over the pass and then make it to a water source over there. So I think we're going to camp here and kind of near the little water source. Just scouted up the trail a little bit to see if there is a decent campsite up there, and no, there is a campsite that is mentioned as a good campsite, but it is really slanty, and there's a better one that we passed north of the stream by just a little bit, and I think we're gonna stop there for the night. This is the little campsite south of the stream, but it's not that great because it's a little slanty. Just north of that little stream, there's a camp spot right next to the trail, which is not that great. But if you go down the hill, it looks like there's a number of little camp spots down there that are a little more well thought out. All right, we're gonna pick one of these camp spots that are down off the trail, but near enough to that little stream that we can get plenty of water in the morning, and we can use as much water as we'd like for dinner tonight, so that I don't have to think about 6 miles without water. Cool. We've got our tent set up for the night. I have made the chicken and mashed potatoes. Fluffy is passed out. And I think I'm going to enjoy my mashed potatoes and try to get to bed early tonight. I'm kind of making up for lost sleep. I started this journey with kind of a sleep deficit, and so I didn't make it as far as I was planning today. We did not get to the top of Kenosha Pass today, which I was kind of wanting to, but I had in the back of my mind that we might need to do different plans based on what the water situation was looking like. And I am camped near the last water for 6 miles, so, and I like to camp near water so I don't have to hump a ton of water. Fluffy takes a surprisingly large amount of water for camp, plus your food takes a lot of water. It's just, you need water. We are about 6.3 miles in, and this is a reasonable spot. I think I'm still on a kind of a slanty area. I'm probably going to be sliding into Fluffy tonight, but that's okay. I'm going to eat my dinner, and we're going to turn in for the night really early. It's still going to be light out probably when I try to go to sleep. Time to make some s'mores. Best camping dessert ever. If your graham crackers manage to make it in one piece, which I think they might have. Excellent. 2 complete graham crackers that did not get all smushed. And of course, chocolate bar. I go for the classics. Good old-fashioned Hershey's milk chocolate. It's not quite the same as cooking them over a campfire, but it gets the job done. Very smushy. You really feel like you're camping when you have s'mores. I don't know. In my hair. You guarding the tent, making sure we're safe and sound. That's my good boy. Good morning. Having my coffee. One of my indulgences is real creamer for my coffee. Bring mini moos. It just makes mornings a little bit nicer when you have real creamer. Today our goal is to make it 10 10 miles-ish to the North Fork of the Swan River. And there should be plenty of camping and, of course, water because, Swan River. So that's the goal. I'm not going to make that goal if I don't actually get out of this tent, though. So I guess it's time to get up. And I at least managed to get out of the tent this morning. Then I've got to pack up all my crap. That's all the crap. And go hike 10 miles. Are you my good little muffin this morning? Yeah? You my good boy? Good boy. All right. You are a good boy. Let's get this stuff packed up. You ready to go? Good boy. We've got everything packed up and we are headed back to the little stream. Fill up some water for the next leg of the hike. After last night I have half a liter left, which isn't going to be enough for the next 6 miles. So we're going to fill up our water and then head to the summit. We've got a little more climbing through woodsy woods this morning before we get to the summit. Lots of mountain bikers out today. It's Saturday, so no big surprise. But you gotta dodge them a little bit. The air is getting thinner. The forest is getting a little more sparse and spread out. The trees are stunted a little bit. And we're starting to get glimpses of Mount Guyot. So we're gonna break out a tree line real soon. I am literally having to stop about every 5 minutes for mountain bikers. That's frustrating. Last time I hiked this trail, I think there was me and one other group of hikers, and that's it. But I guess the pandemic is responsible, really, for this uptick in people on the trails. I don't like it. What do you think? You ready to head up the pass? Let's go. Roar har. There's Mount Guyot, and we'll be crossing the pass kind of right between those pine trees right there. As expected, it's a little cooler and a little breezier as we're heading up Georgia Pass. I might have to break out the jacket or my long sleeves pretty soon. But we're almost there. This is where we came from. It's really smoky back there. Ahead, that little post and where those people are, that's the top of the pass. From the top of the pass, you can see where we're going. Way out there is Breckenridge. Did you find some snow? Did you find some snow? Good boy. We stopped for lunch just a little below Georgia Pass, and Fluffy is passed out now. Fluffy didn't eat any of his own lunch. He mooched Mama's. But it was just the same thing, a sandwich. And it's getting a little cooler, and those look like rain clouds. So we've had a nice little lunch, but we're going to start heading down. There you go, boy. You ready to load your packs back up and we can start heading mostly downhill? The sky is definitely looking a little more ominous. So we are gonna start heading out the trail. I'm hoping to get back down past tree line pretty quick. It'll be a little warmer there and a little better if there's a actual real rainstorm coming. We've made it down off of the pass and it's definitely warmer down here. I'm not quite ready to take my coat off yet, but it's much warmer and much more pleasant. So, whew. We gotta make tracks. We are headed to the North Fork of the Swan River, and that's where we're gonna stay tonight. Camp around there, and I don't know how many miles we have left to go. I have to look. Just checked gut hooks, and we've got 6.1 miles, mostly downhill, about 2,000 foot down, about 400 foot up. So not bad at all. Even though we missed summer wildflowers, there's still a lot of color up here. The leaves are changing, even in the pine/conifer forests. The carpet of little mini shrubbies is definitely colorful. We have been going down and down and down, and I'm finally starting to hear the middle fork of the Swan River. Almost down. Good boy. We finally made it down the hill. It was 4 miles, but it was 4 long miles. All right, it's time to quit dawdling and get the final leg of this day done. We've got about 2.3 miles left, 200 to 300 foot elevation gain, something like that, 400 to 500 foot elevation loss, around that, till we get to the North Fork of the Swan River, and right around there we're gonna find a campsite for tonight. Just walked about 20 yards and realized this is probably the middle fork of the Swan River, and what I was sitting at before was just a little stream of some variety. But yeah, that's more like a river. Is that more of a river than you thought? Did you make a mistake not coming up on the bridge? Are you gonna go around? Where are you going? Oh, good boy! Good boy! Good boy! Good boy! Oh, you look so proud of yourself. We're passing by a sled dog operation. Fluffy is intrigued. I see one guy kind of staring at you. Right there, there he is. We have finally arrived at the Swan River. is lovely. All the willows are showing some fall color. Now I've got to decide, do I want to camp around here or do I want to get a little more mileage? I can probably hike for another hour and be good. You hear the river? I hear the river. I just don't see it yet. That's the river. Yes, the river. Oh, fluffy dog. Oh, he just laid down in the middle of the trail. He was tired of waiting for me to make up my mind what I'm doing. I've been looking at the phone, looking at gut hooks, and this is a really nice place to camp. I do have to camp at least like 0.1 miles away from the water, but I still get a really good source of water. I'm waffling. Apparently, about 0.6 miles ahead, there is a great campsite with water. It's not going to be a ton of water because I know that the next creek is not as good. So I'm trying to decide, do I go 0.6 miles more? It's 5:30 right now. I guess I should look at the elevation profile between here and there. that might sway it. The commenters on gut hooks are not super clear, or they're potentially a little contradictory. But apparently once I cross the Swan River Road, which is 0.3 miles from here, somewhere between 0.3 and 0.4 miles past that, there is water. Not a lot of water, but water, and a good campsite. So we're gonna try it. We're gonna see. We still got time. It is getting later in the day. It's about 5:30, and I mean, I could set up camp here. It's really nice. This is absolutely beautiful spot by the river. But I would like to make a little more distance, just a little bit, because I know there's a big climb coming tomorrow, and I would like to get as close to the base of that climb as possible so that I can start the climb as early in the morning as possible and kind of get it over with. But, well, we'll see. Hopefully gut hooks is not steering me wrong. You got enough energy in you for 0.7 more miles, Fluffy? I think you do. I definitely factor in Fluffy's energy level and abilities into those equations too, but just about 5 minutes ago he went tearing down a hill after a squirrel and came tearing back up. So I think he's got some energy. I didn't end up going very far. Went up 0.1, 0.2 miles up the road and found a spot, and I'm calling it good. The river is right over there through the woods. The trail is right there. This is a well-established campsite, and it looks like it has a pretty flat spot. And since I have water and a place to sleep, I'm calling it good. Let's try to get up extra early tomorrow to make it over the hill we've got to make it up. You may be able to hear all the ATVs and motorcycles and whatnot. I'm hoping that dies down as night comes. Been hearing it all day honestly, since the beginning of Kenosha Pass. This is just a high use area for ATVs, and Apparently there's no requirements for them to have mufflers, so they're loud. Let's just hope they die down a little bit when darkness comes. There's Fluffy, my clothes drying, and there are some bold little gray jays hanging around. I don't know if you can see them, but oh, there he goes. He's looking to dive bomb Fluffy's food. Those gray jays, man, they are relentless. They're gonna be sad when the food goes in the bear bag. So I had to bring my actual kind of hanging bear bag this trip. Watching another gray jay come in. So I had to use an actual hanging type bear bag this trip because I had too much food. Normally I would bring my sack, and it's so much easier. You just go find a tree and tie it to it, you're good. Or a rock, heavy rock. Oh, those gray jays. Man, they are bold. I am right here. I am right here. They are bold. Looks like my mountain house meal is complete. I'm gonna eat my dinner. Fluffy and I are gonna go to bed. Get ready for a big day of hiking tomorrow. See you guys in the morning. I managed to get a surprisingly good sleep last night. Last night was the warmest night that I've had so far. And fortunately, all the music and ATVs and such died down after about 9. So, not too bad. It woke me up first thing in the morning, of course, but that's kind of to be expected, I think. We got hunters going out pretty early. We are headed to Breckenridge today. I think it's like 13 miles. First 3 of which are going up. So once we reach a 11,000 foot-ish top of a mountain, then we'll get to go down. But first 3 miles are going to be a little tough. All right. Good boy, Flu. You know where you're going. You know where the trail is, don't you? Good boy. Oh, that's interesting. No e-bikes. Huh. Just 0.3 miles past where I was camped last night, where I had thought about hiking here, but I just didn't know whether it would work out or not. I should have made the hike. It is much more secluded over here. And this would have been the view from your tent site. So yeah, if you're planning a trip here, don't camp right by the river. That was not an ideal camp spot. This, however, pretty much is, and there's a nice little stream. But we're gonna stop and fill up our water bottles because the next 8.3 miles are going to be completely dry and uphill. But darn, I just walked a little bit further. Oh well, what are you gonna do? We've gotten our water from this nice little creek. We're done lamenting our poor choice of camp spots, and now it's time to go up. It is from my understanding that once you get to this little bridge slash crosswalk, this little stream, which is flowing really good even in September, is going to be your last water for the next 8.3 miles. And from that little bridge, it is now almost exactly 2 miles and 1,100 foot elevation gain to the summit. This is kind of cool. As we're switchbacking up, we get treated to some views of Mount Guyot, where we came from. And this mountain right here is maybe Boreas Mountain. We have been going up these gentle but steady and quite long switchbacks for a while. We've been hiking pretty steadily up. I think we're probably 3/4 of a mile up the hill, about 1.25 miles to the summit. But we're passing through this really serious beetle kill area. Obviously, there's still some trees standing, and there's some new growth, but you can see that they cut down the beetle kill trees that would be potentially at risk of falling on the trail, and it's pretty profound the damage that the beetles have done. These switchbacks are very long, which makes them kind of gradual, which is nice. So it's a nice steady but gradual up. Not too bad. We're about 0.8 miles from the top of the ridge. So we've made pretty good time, which is nice because we still got a long way to go once we get up there. It's definitely a little bit overcast today, which I'm kind of glad about because this portion of the trail would probably be pretty hot. As it is, it's cool. I had to put my wool shirt on, which is nice because hiking and hot is not my thing. I would much rather it be a little on the cooler side. But this is lovely. We're getting closer to the top of the ridge. Apparently we have reached the summit of the ridge, which I wouldn't really have known that except for it kind of starts to go down a little bit. But you can see Breckenridge behind us, the ski area of Breckenridge behind us, which is, there's a lift up there. Going up here might be, what's it called, Imperial? Or is that Keystone? See, I don't remember. I have to come back in wintertime and figure out what they are. It's getting a little bit chilly. I had to put my coat on. But the views are really starting to open up and it's very pretty. And you can see civilization down there. This is Fluffy. 90% of the way he just follows behind Mama right on her heels. Good boy. Okay. This side of the ridge, the trail is constructed basically the same as the other side. It's kind of long, gradual switchbacks. It's not so bad at all. And you get some very pretty views coming back here and starting to see some fall color down below. And oh my goodness, I feel raindrops right now. We very suddenly went from a shaded forest to a sagebrush hillside. Looks like we're going to be dropping down into some more forest back there, but it's kind of interesting how this very dry hillside is amongst all the forest. It has been a seriously long downhill slog and a dry one. Thank goodness that we have a lot of cloud cover, because oh my goodness, that would not be good. I started this out with 4 liters of water and have maybe 250 mils left. And we've still got about a mile to go before we get to water. And I'm kind of parched. Most of that water I gave to Fluffy, or a fair amount of it. We're gonna make our way down this hill and there should be water at the bottom of it. Our water source is 3/10 of a mile ahead. It still feels like it's taking forever. We have finally made it to Horseshoe Gulch, and there's water. It's been 8.3 miles without a source of water, and that was actually a really long slog. We've had our snacks. We've filled up our water at Horseshoe Gulch. We have about 4 miles left to go. And in a cruel twist of fate, about 500 foot of elevation gain. So it's not crazy, but it does mean we're going to be going up a bunch. Not crazy up, but at the end of the day, I'm tired of going up. It definitely could be worse, but this last bit is a little bit of a slog just because I'm tired and want to get to the end. A little bit further. I am glad it's pretty late in the day, because this part of the trail would not be pleasant with all the sun if it were earlier. We've got like 200 more foot in elevation to go. That's like 20 stories. We're getting there. We have about 2 miles to go. It's very pretty woods. Have been walking through a lot of burned out areas, so in the heat of the day they would be pretty uncomfortable, but it's lovely. We're getting views of the ski areas, and a squirrel just ran across the trail and Fluffy did not see it. And didn't, as if he had seen that, he would have taken off after it. Oh, we're finally coming down into town. Getting closer. That's the highway down there. I can officially see the highway. Whoop. And not where my feet are stepping. We've got to cross the highway to Gold Hill Trailhead, and we're probably about 1.5 miles to the end, and then we will be done with section 6. It's very lovely weather, and look at the view out there. It's beautiful. Hey buddy, is that the town down there? Yeah? Is that the town down there? We have to go down a bunch of switchbacks to get closer to the road, but we are in the final stretch. Across the Swan River we go, almost to the trailhead. Happy. Huh. No camping. I bet the neighbors don't appreciate camping there. This last bit of trail is a little bit unconventional, so fortunately it's well marked, because it would be a little difficult to figure out where the heck we're supposed to go. And where we're going is under the underpass here and to the other side of the river, and the Gold Hill Trailhead is over there. It's a little dark under here. Doesn't smell awesome. Maybe get some water once we get out of here, Fluffy. Here, let's get in the light, and we'll get some water up here. There you go. I think you can. That looks safe for Fluffy. Good boy. Very well marked. There it is. We go over this bridge, and the trailhead should be just up here. Yay, we did it! We made it to the Gold Hill Trailhead. And our friend Brandon's here somewhere, so I'm gonna go find him. 32.7 miles, and we are done. I think we're gonna go get some food tonight, because I could use hamburger. And then tomorrow, we're gonna start segment 7. Whew. But I'm glad to have 6 done for now. Thanks for coming along with us. We'll see you next time.